Hello and welcome back to another episode of the MindSets podcast, episode 88, Two Fat Ladies.
Is that what that is?
I think that's what they call it in bingo.
Is it?
I don't know if that's culturally appropriate anymore.
I don't think it is.
I also don't think cultural appropriation is the right term for that either.
No.
I
PC.
don't know.
I think it's, yeah.
We'll go with that one. Welcome back, everybody.
So bingo specific episode.
Bingo episode. We're going to be going into the awkward training of bingo players. No, we're going to be looking at tennis today. In particular, we know that Roland Garros is coming up, which is the French major. Mm-hmm. And we have a particular someone who is desperate to win that, which is Jannik Sinner. Mm-hmm. Don't know if you want to kind of give a little insight into how important it is.
So Jannik Sinner, 25, isn't he? He's still a baby. Still super young. World number one, currently ranked world number one. My favorite stat, though, about Jannik Sinner, he's 6th on the all-time competition earnings. Do you want to have a guess at how many millions of dollars
just
that
from
is?
competition? 6th.
Which is meant he's only 25 and he hasn't been doing it for so long.
I'm going to say, like, based off what I know Serena Williams' winnings was, let's say he's earned like 22 mil.
65.
Ooh,
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, he's all right.
So he's doing well. I mean, he's got a star-studded lineup of accolades to his name of things that he's won. He's won Wimbledon. He's won the US Open. He's won the Australian. The only one he hasn't won is, like you say, Roland Garros, which is coming up. So over the course of the next couple of weeks, his preparation for that will be key. And I guess that's what we're going to talk about now.
Wicked. Well, before we do that, as you guys know, we do sports news. People actually really rely on us for that.
Really?
Yeah. I had someone be like, I missed an episode and I forgot. I didn't know what was going on in the world of sport. This week is actually not that exciting. We're hoping that the sports world picks up because there's a big couple of months coming up. As we know, we've got the Football World Cup and things like that. It's going to be crazy. But do you want to kick us off this week? Let me start the timer because we're going to do this inside 2 minutes. Okay.
Oh, we'll try.
3, 2, 1. Off you go.
So obviously heating up in the Premier League at the moment. Arsenal played West Ham over the weekend. Very, very maybe controversial, at least consequential VAR decision in the last minute to deny West Ham a goal and a draw. So I think that puts Arsenal now 5 points clear, looking very likely for them to win the Prem this season. You're next.
Yeah, so actually sticking on the theme of Arsenal, they aren't going to do the triple this season because they got knocked out of the FA Cup last month, but they are looking good to do the double. They beat Atletico Madrid 1-0 last week, which means they're taking on PSG on May the 30th in the Champions League final, which I think Arsenal has only been to once before.
Really?
And I don't know if they won it. I should probably have searched that, but I didn't. Anyway, moving on.
Gallagher Prem, so rugby now. Unfortunately, Saints lost the Midlands derby against Leicester, but they're luckily still at the top of the table because Exeter managed to beat Bath, which was a huge result for Exeter. Sean Strickland in UFC 328 beat Chimev. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name, in the middleweight division by decision. And then based off some news we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, Justin Rose debuted his McLaren club.
So there's a lot of hype around McLaren clubs because I was excited thinking, the engineering behind these is going to be incredible.
Right. I think he shot his second worst ever round of golf this season and nearly came last on the leaderboard with his brand new clubs. And very funny tweet he then posted. He was like, "I'll try and use DRS next time," which I thought was quite good from Justin Rose. But should we stay with golf?
Yeah, stick on.
So Saudi Arabia, which is like the funding behind Live Golf, whether or not you know all the controversy around the PGA and Live Golf, they're pulling their funding at the end of this season. So a lot of the players who jump ship from PGA because of these big contracts that Live were offering them, like Bryson DeChambeau, John Rahm, Phil Mickelson, their future is potentially a little bit in the hands of fate because they don't know whether or not they're going to be allowed back to play in the PGA. So we'll see what happens with that.
All hotting up. There is one more golf thing, actually. You went to the cinema yesterday.
Yeah. Rory McIlroy has a cameo appearance in The Devil Wears Prada 2. So if you're into... I don't know what you have to
I
be
don't
into
even know
to
what it's
enjoy
about,
that.
to be honest. Is it a horror film or something?
Have you not seen the original?
No, I'm thinking of The Black Swan. No, I have no idea what Devil Wears Prada is about.
You've never seen it?
No.
Well, I'd seen it years ago, and I probably should have known what had happened in the first movie. But if you haven't gone to see it, I would very recommend it.
Very recommend it.
Very
That's
recommend.
The best. That's the best.
It's
piece
fun.
Of feedback.
It's fun, and Rory McIlroy's in it.
Well, there we go. Let's dive into the topic today. Again, if you came here from a couple of episodes ago, we switched out. We do grind my gears later, so there are things that are annoying you guys. We're just going to make you hold on to those a little bit longer.
That might be a grind my gear.
Someone send that in, please. That would be so good, and it would leave us so bamboozled as to what to do.
Where do we put it?
Exactly. Just for reference, I don't think we did the news inside 2 minutes, but I forgot to look at when we stopped it, so we'll just take the L on that. Anyway, it's done inside 3 minutes. That's fine. So, Jannik Sinner, I don't know if you want to go slightly further into your initial introduction.
So, for anyone who's not necessarily following tennis or doesn't know so much about how the season's structured, you obviously have like the main events across the year. You've got your Wimbledons, you've got your Roland Garros, US Open, etc. It's like the big tournaments that everyone knows about. Below that, you have kind of like the end of season finals, and then the most prestigious tournaments across the year. Other than those, they're called the ATP. The thing that makes energy in your cells.
Yeah.
You have they're called the Masters 1000s, and they're played across the season, and there's 9 in the season. Now, what's significant about that is there's only one player who's ever won all 9, and it's obviously the king himself, Novak Djokovic. Now, Jannik Sinner has had an unbelievable run this season, and I think he's won 4 in a row, which is a record in itself, if I'm not mistaken. No one's won that many in a row in one season. And he's going to Rome, or he's currently playing in Rome.
Yeah, he is.
Which is happening now, I think. He might even be playing this afternoon. And he's got the opportunity to be the second ever player to win all 9 crowns. And he could potentially win a 5th in a row, which would just be like an unbelievable achievement. And he's Italian himself, so to win it on home soil, I'm sure is like a big deal for him.
Yeah, I think it's quite a big sort of month for him. So we're hoping that this is timed right if you guys are hearing about him on the news and then you get to actually look into what's going on. It isn't all golden, boy, though. If we're going to be honest with you guys, and we're going to let you know what happened, 2024, Jannik Sinner had to take 3 months off the sport. And that's because he had to accept that he failed a drugs test. Got caught with performance-enhancing anabolic steroid called clostebol. Don't know really what that does, but
sounds good.
It was good enough for him to put on quite a lot of size. I think one of the things that is recognizable about Jannik when he was quite young, entering professional sport, is he was quite lean, quite skinny. And that was probably one of the reasons why he was struggling against some of those more veteran players that had a bit more power, a bit more size. So anyway, gets a new coach by the name of Darren Cahill, and genuinely would never suggest that there would be a correlation between the two. But that happened in 2022, and that's allegedly when he started putting on some size. So anyway,
speculation.
I think one of the things that is interesting about Jannik's career now is he's now in the sort of peak part of his career as a tennis player, kind of peak athleticism, peak experience so far, sort of peak understanding of the sport. And so that's all starting to come together. But there's a few things that have changed about his game as well. And rather than being a really energetic kid and seeing the sport as like, oh, I've got to do everything I can in order to improve, it's actually become less of a robot within the sport and actually have a life and have the sport. And that's something I think Darren Cahill, his coach, has actually mentioned that he is much better at now. Interestingly as well, this is a little piece of information that I found out about a month ago. Jannik, when he was a kid, was a dual sport athlete.
Oh, really?
He was actually very highly ranked in skiing and giant slalom.
Oh,
and then
classic.
At age 13, maybe 14, he's committed to tennis. Yeah. So like,
that's cool.
Again, if you're a talented kid and you have to choose a sport that young, like you become a robot for it because you've chose that sport over the other one. Especially in Italy as well. Like skiing is quite a big thing for them with the Alps.
I'm sure I'd love to see like when you sit down and you go, okay, I'm going to do the positives and negatives of why I want to choose skiing over why I want to choose tennis.
Yeah.
And I'm sure number 1 on the list was I can earn a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't know how much money there is in tennis.
There aren't many Lindsey Vonns in the world of skiing, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right.
But the next thing that's changed, as he actually did begin to have a bit more success on the tour just through being a very talented player and getting some wins under his belt, he brought in someone who's quite well known within the tennis space, which is Marco Panici. That happened in 2004. Now, Marco Panici is a famous name because he's worked with the likes of Novak Djokovic, as you said, the king. He's won everything. He's the only person to do what Jannik yet hasn't done.
Sure.
Now, what Marco is well known for is movement efficiency. And rather than being like, we're going to work on this specific shot over and over again until your body gets it, it's like, how do we train to allow your body to do certain things on the court? So kind of, I guess, what we would talk about in every other sport is plyometrics. But the interesting thing about tennis players training is that so much of it happens on the court.
Yeah.
You don't actually, I mean, they do gym sessions and stuff, but in previous episodes where we've done athlete profiles, we talk about how, you know, they might be on the elliptical to get their base work in. They might be using the bike. They might be running when running has nothing to do with their sport.
Like training versus sport.
Exactly.
And it's like the sport-specific conditioning that you're doing or the sport-specific strength you're doing in the gym. They're doing a lot of their training just, it is sport.
Exactly.
And that's again, something that comes hand in hand with it being a skill-dominant sport. Yeah. And I'm sure we're going to go down that rabbit hole a lot in the next couple of minutes.
Well, yeah, and the conditioning side of it is massive, because if you think about, and I think about when I was a kid and I was doing some coaching, I was being coached in tennis, whether that be in like a PE class or actually there was a club locally which I did a few lessons at.
Yeah,
I never really took to it because we did a lot of things like shuttle runs. And the shuttle runs were more fun than just doing shuttle runs because it would be each line of the court, but then you'd have to hit the ball over, or you'd be doing around the world where you're taking turns, which I love.
Yeah.
But
so good.
It was pretty much all the training felt like conditioning because like there is so much running.
Yeah.
But again, once you're at that elite level, that's also great because then you aren't having to think so much about how you balance all these different forms. It's like I'm on the court and this section of my court time today is for this, and then we'll move into this section. You can kind of all do it in one place, which makes it not easier.
I'm just going to go off a personal experience. And for anyone who doesn't know, I was also a dual athlete when I was younger. And it was tennis or rugby.
Yeah.
Neither was I was any good at. and decided to not choose either.
Still dual though.
Yeah,
still dual.
But last year we went to Portugal and I hadn't played tennis in a long time. And there were tennis courts where we were staying. We just thought, let's have a little hip out. Obviously, we do a lot of training, a lot of fitness. A lot of my training is running, specific to whether it's running half marathons or doing high rocks, etc., etc. So you're like, well, I have that fitness. But as soon as you go sport specific and you get on a tennis court and it's the stop, start, back, forth, lateral movement, rotation, having to then compose yourself to hit the tennis ball, it's a completely different thing, which is just mental to me, where you go, well, I think I'm generally quite fit. You play like 10 minutes of tennis and I was like hands on knees. Like it's so specific. And if you don't train that and you don't have the specific conditioning for that, God, it's hard.
And that's even from like, if you look at a point individually, the stamina required to win 1 point is crazy.
And like, you just have to, my level versus the top level athletes. It's just like the speed of the game, the movement, the anticipation. It's just honestly, I could talk about tennis players all day, every day. If
well, you did say like you think they're the pinnacle athlete.
They are the pinnacle of any,
because and your defense is around the skill and the conditioning required.
Yeah. So the way I define it, because you need to have some sort of parameters of definition of what you think the highest level of sport is. I use the 10 physical skills. Lots of those skills are seen across every sport. You've got, well, potentially not every sport, but you've got like cardiovascular, like endurance and stamina. You have power, you have speed, you have agility, you have flexibility, you have accuracy, you have coordination, you have balance. I don't know if I just nailed all 10, but that could have been incredible.
That first time as well.
Yeah, I don't know VAR it. But there's so few sports that have all 10.
Yeah.
So few. And I just, until someone can give me a more compelling argument, I think tennis players are at the pinnacle of athleticism.
Speed golf. Anyway, we'll move on.
We could argue. Yeah.
I don't think speed golf earns as much money. So we'll stick on tennis. One of the things that's interesting though, and we've spoken a lot about this with other athletes, and I think this is a bit of an understanding that really began around the Olympics, it being every 4 years. but has really trickled down into other sports on a more miniature scale, which is periodization of training. And I think there's also been a massive understanding, both scientifically, but from just feeling of just like, you actually can't be in peak performance all the time.
You can't.
You can have a new sort of, what would you even call it, like baseline across where your like minimum performance is, but you absolutely cannot be at your very best all the time. And so a lot of athletes are now deliberately saying, look, this is when it matters to me, and this is when it doesn't. And so, for example, we've said before, Jannik has won Wimbledon, he's won Melbourne, he's won the US Open. So you'd think pretty naturally he's probably set his most recent training block up to be peaking at this time, so he can tick off the 1,000 and then also win at Roland Garros. Now, in order to do that, there's a lot of planning that has to go into that. This isn't the sort of thing you can decide 6 weeks out you're going to be great for. You've really got to take into account and sacrifice some things before that, whether that's because you need to do a strength block, whether that's because you need to do a specific aerobic easy base builder. You basically need to identify.
Or even just get more comfortable to playing on clay.
That's it, because this is one of the huge things is the other courts. I think Melbourne and the US Open, correct me if I'm wrong, are both hardcore, and they're like kind of like rubbery, grippy kind of thing. Wimbledon, obviously grass, very different. A lot of players will actually, if they want to win Wimbledon or do well at Wimbledon, will take their foot off the gas for Roland Garros, because on clay it's known to slide, it's faster, serves happen quicker, you've got to be way more reactive. Things like spin play far less of an effect. And then you go to Wimbledon, and on grass you can slide, it's not the same. The ball doesn't actually have much traction when it hits the ground. It's similar to clay, but the ball bounce is low because grass absorbs more of the. There's so much to consider between each of these tournaments. So periodization is actually quite sensible in that sense if you're going to aim for a specific tournament. The other thing that you have to consider in these different locations is also what like the environment's like. So in Melbourne, it's hot. It's not crazy. It's actually not that different from the UK, I'm told by a Melbourne local. But depending on when you're playing, and I know at the US Open and a lot of these tournaments now, you end up being indoors, quite controlled environments. But there are days when at Wimbledon it's like 42 degrees and they leave the thing open. So you've got to be physically prepared in that sense. So that is where, through your periodization, you can start working on different elements like training your energy system.
I think also, like, if you look at the calendar for the season, you can't be ready for all the tournaments. And that's why, you know, it'd be a really cool thing to be able to say, I'm going to win all of these Masters 1000 events across a season, and there's 9 of them. But when you look at, if you got to Wimbledon finals, which you've got to put money on Jannik Sinner doing, there's such a short turnaround from that event into, I think it's Toronto. There's just like, you can't get to all of the events. And even if you get to the Wimbledon finals, you then manage to make it to Toronto, you're just going to be so fatigued emotionally, physically. So it takes like a very special player to be able to go and do that. But do you know what, like, all of the critics in the world of tennis are saying, like, you have to, Jannik Sinner currently is beatable, but you're going to have to catch him on like a really good day for you and a really bad day for him, because he's playing such consistent, such good tennis that he's really difficult to beat.
So with tournaments like this, immediately with some of the episodes that people have listened to before about tapering for things. Now, in skill-based sports or higher skill-based sports, the idea of tapering appears to drop off slightly in terms of they're such mental load sports that mentally you need to be in a good place. Typically, to be confident in yourself, you need to know that you're on a similar surface or you're playing well before you go into the tournament, which is why for those of you that will recognize Queens or what's Bournemouth as well for women.
Eastbourne?
Is it Eastbourne? Sorry.
Yeah.
So Eastbourne, they're both lawn tennis tournaments that happen before Wimbledon, and they play right up until the week before Wimbledon. A lot of players that are coming in for a big year at Wimbledon will play in those tournaments, get used to the surface, also get a bit more confidence. Same with what's going on right now with Jannik before he goes into Roland Garros. They back right into each other. So he could well be playing a final on Sunday if he gets there, and then he could be playing his first round at Roland Garros a day or two later. So there isn't really this idea of tapering. However, because there is a tournament, the volume and training load prior is not as intense because they are trying to recover between each game. So in that sense, total volume and time on court probably does drop. However, the actual like intensity doesn't. So that's where, when he's actually training and going through these blocks, what we know and what we have got from our sources, again, quotes from his coaches, is that he will be doing pretty intense 90 to 120 minute plus sessions on the court at a time.
Wow.
And a lot of that will include, in the lead up to a tournament, live ball sessions. So whether that is a tennis ball machine or just the coach on the other side putting them in repetitive, difficult positions. However, one of the other things, reactive drills is one of the key elements of tennis, because you never really know where the other person's going to put the ball. Like the more you play, the more you know, the more you watch it, you'll understand when they're in a baseline slog back and forth. That can go on for 10, 15 shots before someone does a drop shot, but it could have come 2 shots before. You don't know. So there'll be a lot of reactive drills. One of the best things I think in coaching is that is where you get to test your players' ability to be agile, to be fast. And so that's where a lot of the tennis court-based drills come in that you wouldn't necessarily have to have like 4 cones out and tell your athlete, I need you to run diagonally across the cones and then make the shot. You could do that without telling them by putting the ball in the right place. And what I loved as well when I was younger, and this actually happened in badminton, but it happens in tennis as well, is that as a coach, if you have a good player, you can tell them that they need to return the ball to you. Which means that you can make life really difficult for them while basically standing still and just hitting it over. And obviously these guys are professional coaches. Like they are bad at the sport themselves. So as long as it's within a radius of them, you can challenge the player and you can give them a really hard game without actually having to be that like as athletically gifted. So a lot of those sessions, like I said, you'll be trying to move the player across, keep them on their toes, keep them surprised. Those will be slightly shorter because they are intense, both mentally and physically, to do all that change of direction. But then there will be longer blocks where it is literally just baseline shot, baseline shot, baseline shot, winner.
It's almost like conditioning, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's also, and this is where Marco came in, is being so consistent at a type of shot. So if it's like, I'm going to get you to hit the baseline from your baseline, you have to hit 8 out of these 10 and it has to hit the white tape at the back of the court. And we're going to do that not until I'm happy that you've hit 8 out of 10, until I'm happy that your technique looked the same for those 10, let alone only 8 you can hit. So that's like the kind of training that goes in, which is, you can tell by the way we're talking, mentally the focus that you have to have, that is quite intense, but physically to be able to match up to the mental intensity, like that's also very, very intense.
So that's like another argument for me of why tennis players are like the pinnacle, because you have all of that. I saw something recently, I'm not going to quote numbers, but the amount of time you have to react to a serve at the top level in tennis, like it's 0.00 seconds, something like that, like point whatever. There's no time. It's just like a inherent, like, I have to dig it out because it's really interesting, and why you see a lot of players jump as their opponent's serving, because I can't remember the physics behind it. It's honestly incredible how fast they react, but they have the speed of decision making, and then also just the mental fatigue of having to try and outwit their opponent because they're facing someone else. I always put golf because it's also a very high skill sport. It doesn't have all of the physical stuff behind it like tennis does, but in terms of skill, it's very, very skill demanding, even probably higher than tennis, maybe arguably. But you're not competing against someone directly one-on-one. They might be in the same group as you on the final day, or they might be a couple of holes behind or ahead, and you can hear the crowd or you can see the leaderboard. And yes, you're trying to beat them, but at the end of the day, you just have to play your best golf, and you're at the mercy of the course basically, and how well you understand gradients and undulation and the wind. So you're not actually like hitting shots back and forth against someone. But then also when you think about, I'm running to return the ball, there's so many different positions that I've got to be in when I hit the shot. So you're talking about consistency of hitting basically a similar shot, like baseline to baseline or cross court. In golf, when you set up, let's say I'm on the tee box, how often are you going to change the position of your feet? How often are you going to change your grip? How often are you going to change the position? It's very, very similar, always. Unless you're on like a slight gradient or you're in the rough or you're in a bunker. There's so many different variables when you're running to hit the shot. You're running towards the net. You need to hit a slice or however. It's like there's so many different things that you need to be good at to hit just one shot in tennis. Like it's incredible when you think about the depth and the layers that these players have to their game.
I'm going to hone in on something you said kind of early on there, was the jump at the serve.
Yeah.
This is going to come from a different sport, but I think people will find this really interesting.
Yeah.
When I was playing American football and we had wide receivers, and this was also important in athletics, did you ever get picked up on, in athletics, a full step at the start of a run or a start of a sprint?
Like if you like a full start?
No, it's called a full step. So if I told anybody listening, watching, or yourself to stand behind a line, and when I say go, you're not down.
Yeah.
You're like just stood on 2 feet.
Yeah.
Do you know what happens to 99.999% of people when they actually go with their front foot?
It's like a stutter, or like...
So what happens, and people can please do try this, because even knowing what I'm about to tell you, will still do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So you'll start with one foot in front of the other, and you'll have most of your weight on that front foot.
Okay.
What people then do...
I thought I was just like standing with my feet together. Okay, yeah.
So when most people do, pretty much everyone will do, and even I will still do it, is as soon as someone says go and I'm allowed to go, the foot with most of my weight on it, I will lift that foot up, put it back, and then go forward.
Rather than driving your back leg forwards.
So that is the full step.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, in American football, we had to coach our receivers out of doing it because it costs you a split second. And the thing is, if you watch at the very high level, they obviously just do it because they're good enough. But that split second, when you're a far lower level, is actually quite important. And it's good for people to understand how their bodies work. In a reactive sport, you can preemptively do the full step before the thing happens. In American football, if you full start by doing a full step, you get flagged as penalty.
Sure.
In tennis, if you want to put yourself in a reactive position, you can bring the weight off your body, which allows you to make the shift to direction a lot easier. And so in effect, if you told the players that they weren't allowed to move, they would still do a full step in a direction to shift their body weight so it can move a certain way. By jumping, you've deloaded your body. So when you see in the air that it's going one way, you can land in the position you need to be in, which is like a tiny, tiny thing. So everybody that I've said, you can try the sprint thing. I guarantee you, if I was to hit a ball to you doing tennis, your body would naturally alleviate or lift up a little bit to make it easier to change direction. However, if you then, after this incredible piece of insight into your own brain, went and did the full step thing, you would do it, and you'd find it so hard not to do it. So it's interesting how your body will naturally adapt, but particularly top level tennis players are definitely doing a little hop as they see the serve coming, because there is a degree, it's a bit like a penalty as a goalkeeper. You are having to guess, and you will know probably the statistics of where they're going to put the ball.
You see goalkeepers do very similar thing as well. They're
exactly. It's the exact same thing. So
it's so interesting.
Now,
also, just on that point, and this is so like irrelevant to the conversation, to see how unathletic someone is. You go set up as if you're about to sprint, and they go same arm forwards as same leg forwards. Always there's that one person. There's always that one person. There you're like, okay, you've never played sport before in your life.
And then to be fair, I say that, and then you see me running, and my arms are like Tommy Fury running down the line. I have to really think so hard about using my elbows. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to preface this bit by saying this bit we haven't got from sources. Now, hopefully you guys are okay with that. We understand training to a relative degree. So we're going to go through basically what a weekly training, not block, but like what a segment of training might look like through a week. So yes, we've said that a lot of stuff is done inside on a court, wherever the court is. But there are things that still need to happen away from that to develop the strength, develop the power that is part of that essential sort of training system that you are as a tennis player. So things like your compound lifts, deadlifts, upper body work, sort of overhead shoulder press, a lot of the stuff that you would do as like a full body session could happen early on in the week. Obviously, this is going to be looking at a week which isn't impacted by tournament play because there's a lot of recovery for that. But big things which convert well into tennis are single leg movements. Big time. Not particularly deep movements, I would say, because you're never in a full depth squat.
Sure.
You're never going to be doing anything like a proper straight bar deadlift. Trap bar is absolutely fine. And then again, and we've spoken about this in lots of different sports, the plyometric side of things, doing jumps, being able to teach your body to take the force in certain positions, and again, do them single leg as well as dual leg.
And it's like the agility thing, it's like minimizing the time it takes to change direction, which is what agility is. So it's like, if you are running across, sliding, hit your shot, and you're like, well, I can almost preempt that they're going to hit it again to the other side of the court, so I have to get back on my bike and like get across. And what's really fun and what's really interesting, it probably isn't fun or interesting at all, but if you watch any sport and you go, if I was their trainer in the gym, based off their movement mechanics in the sport and my understanding of exercise, my exercise library, what exercises am I prescribing them? And that's really fun to do across all sports. It's like if you watch a boxing fight, or you watch golfers, or you watch tennis players, or you watch footballers, or you watch skiers, it's like, what do I, and like there's so much crossover, and I always say this, there's so much crossover, but yeah, the single leg stuff, like front foot elevated split squats or Bulgarian split squats or whatever, it's pogo jumps. I think also like a lot of med ball rotation, because it's like, when you hit the ball, it's like, I need to be strong in that position. Lots of rotation.
There'll be an element of this every day because this happens, especially when they're out on court. But just in general, core training is probably one of the most important things in the sport. So it's also, how do you control and stabilize your core when your body's not in a perfect position? So when you said like med ball throws, there's also going to be a point where you're not perfectly stood on sideways, because actually when you hit a tennis shot, and we always used to use this term when we were throwing, but like you stand in an open stance, so your left foot is not aligned with your right foot like it is in golf, to allow your hips to rotate through. So then are you able to not only release the ball in that fashion, can you catch it there? Because in the off chance that you are in an awkward position and you're running left and they actually shoot right, can you generate enough force?
It's like force absorption.
Exactly. So a lot of the core work is around that, in order to be able to just, what a lot of athletes do generally is they prepare their bodies to be capable of doing something.
It's like
they don't necessarily train their body how to do 10 shots.
It
is allow my body to be able to do 100 variations of these 10 shots and not bother too much about how it gets it done, as long as it does.
And I saw you made a note of also like deceleration, because like that's just as important as acceleration. And like when you think about the ball's coming cross court or it's coming to the net, I have to sprint my hardest at it to get there in time. I need to adjust my feet as I'm getting to the ball. How am I adjusting my feet? It's me slowing down. And that's something that you need to train your body and your muscles to do as well.
Well, not only is there like a lot of people watching in the seats that you can fall into if you're running for a cross-court shot, but if you touch the net, you lose the point. So like, if there's a really cheeky drop shot with backspin, you've got to get there and stop probably within a yard, because that's how accurate they are with the drop shots.
It's incredible.
It's crazy. There is a mention on this suggested weekly routine of like more of an aerobic base work day. I kind of disagree with it being a whole day around that, because there will still be so much tennis court time around this. It would literally just be a suggestion of doing something slightly easy. So this is where an easy run could come in, an easy bike, depending on how the body's feeling. But again, it's not like in other forms of training where it's like you need to hit a certain number of hours, because in their training, it's a bit like the dad going to a park run that doesn't really know about his training, because all his runs actually do span, because he only trains off field. So a lot of those sessions actually span all the different intensities of training. So it's not like I'm looking at my Strava of the week and I've only done 5 hours of zone 2 this week. It's like the whole thing's a mess, but all of the zones.
But when I play an actual game, it's a mess as well.
Exactly that. So then mobility and recovery, always going to be a big thing in elite sport. One of the major things with this sport, with the lateral change of direction, you see this a lot with basketball players as well, is hip recovery. And doing the mobility, the 1990s, but also doing a lot of banded work around hips to make sure that they're stable enough when you come to your next session, but also that you've released. Because I also get this, if I'm sat down for a long time, I get tight in my lower back and my glutes. But I can imagine if they're not sat down for a long time, but they are constantly moving side to side and then powerfully forwards and backwards, then there's going to be a lot of like pump, a lot of tightness around those hips. And again, if you the next day fair enough, you can't recover in 12 hours because you're usually in a tournament, you're not playing the next day, but you usually play every other day in the big tournaments.
Yeah.
So you need to be arguably in a better position than you were for your last game in 2 days' time because you're playing a better person.
Right.
So yeah.
But then again, it's like, does it get leveled because they're also in the same position? So it does just become a, can I recover more than my opponent? And then the luck of the draw, have I played earlier in the week than they've played or whatever? So there's lots of factors that go into it. But one thing that everything's rotation in tennis, rotation. One thing that I'm sure they're all starting to do more of now, rather than just my focus is on having like mobility through my thoracic and mobile through my trunk. They're doing less kind of like stretching and more actual strength in the rotation. There's lots of weird, wacky drills that you'll see on social media of any sports person who does rotational drills for their kind of like sport specific, but there's a lot of strength stuff around it, and it's something that I've started to play around with as well for golf, because I was like, well, I'm really tight through my upper back, and I was like, spent ages doing lots of stretching, and then I was actually like, maybe it's just I'm weak in that position, and the more strength stuff I've done, the more range I've got in my golf swing, and I'm sure it's something similar that they're doing in their tennis.
That's the same thing with like anterior pelvic tilts, because you can actually be really strong in a contracted position, and you can be pretty strong in a relaxed position generally for your core, but in between the two you're crap. And so you resort to one or the other.
Sure.
Which is exactly where I am. There's a really interesting insight. You know, last week when we were talking about Formula One drivers, if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen. I thought I would love to know an insight, if anyone has one, on the fueling strategy, and like is it a carb mix they're drinking? Are they only having water? Are they having electrolytes? That kind of thing. I would love, if there's any stats nerds out there or people that are supposed to be working and you want to look busy right now, go to your Google tab and type in and find out for us, for those that have won major tournaments, earlier on in the tournament when they're playing someone at a lower level, when they have lost a set, is it by quite a big gap? Because, hear me out, this is what I'm thinking. If I'm Jannik and I know that I need to get to the weekend and I have a really bad game within a set,
you just let it go.
Broken, do I say, okay, I'm 3-1 down and they're playing well. I'm 3-1 down. Do I just let them have this set and recover and take this easier so it doesn't affect me that much later in the week? And then I come out next 2 sets and I just win the next 2 sets and I go hard for those? Or do I try and recover it and get this game done now at the risk of it being more intense and losing anyway in the set?
I often think that as well, but I'm just like, if you've made it to the top level of tennis, you're like a die-hard competitor and all you care about is as many favorable stats to your name as possible. So it's like, I want to win as much as I can in straight sets and I want to drop as few games as possible. So I think when you're down in a match, you're not even thinking about the next match.
I like to think that is the case.
I'm going to try and win this because I'm a competitor and I want to be the best and I want to win.
I just wonder if there is like even if they're subconsciously doing it, but if there is a pattern.
Or like maybe in a game where you're 40 love down, you're like, am I really going to fight for this 1 point?
Yeah, that's a better example. That's probably more realistic.
Yeah.
That would be really interesting if someone is willing to do the stats.
I'm sure the stats exist.
We would love to. Well, do you know what? I'll invite you on and you can present your information to everybody. I'd love that.
We need a statistician.
Is that statistician?
God, long. Who knows?
I didn't do math statistics at A-level for that reason. Okay, so kind of as a bit of we gave a very brief insight into what a weekly overview would be, because a lot of it is just working on the different skill sets of training based on how the body's feeling and where you are in the block in terms of intensity and just volume. I'm not going to go into specific Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, apart from what we said is that the strength work might happen towards the beginning of the week, and then more court specific things at the weekend, because they're shorter sessions, like whether you're doing like a game simulation, just playing 1 or 2 sets at a time. Then I mean, in terms of a comparison to other players, I think at the top of their game at the moment, we've still got Novak Djokovic. He's not going anywhere anytime soon, but Carlos Alcaraz has really come through. He's probably my comparison for those that don't know tennis but do know football would be Jannik is more like a Cristiano Ronaldo in that he's really had to work on a lot of things, develop physically to become the player he is, and he's quite a calculated player. And then you've got Alcaraz, which is a bit more of a messy, very gifted and talented in what he does. He's also probably more powerful.
That's what I was interested about earlier, to see kind of like the difference between how Carlos trains versus Jannik training, because does Jannik spend more time on the weights because he needs to put on size and he finds it harder to maintain size? And is Carlos naturally slightly stronger, slightly more, I don't know, thicker set, and as a result he can get away with doing less training in the weights room? It'd be interested to see that comparison. But to be honest with you, I'm sure they're all doing like a lot of the same stuff, and they're all, in terms of like duration of training per week, they're probably all doing similar hours, but it just might be a bit more specific based off their individual needs.
Well, maybe when we get to Wimbledon sort of time, based on who's won Roland Garros,
we
might do Alcaraz, and we can do a comparison episode, because I think Alcaraz is always a key favourite for Wimbledon as well, with Novak.
Should we just invite him on?
I mean, he's going to be here anyway.
Far away.
We're actually not far away. For those of you that want to know some behind the scenes, I'm probably 10-minute drive away from Wimbledon.
You got spare room? Why not offer it
out to Carlos? Yeah.
My guy.
Do you know what? If Jannik wins Roland Garros, I'll give him first dibs.
Okay, fine.
How's that?
Yeah. Drop him a message off the MindSets.
Yeah.
Why not?
I think, to be honest, that's probably like a relatively good place to stop. If you guys have got more specific questions, or there's anything else you think we should know that we should share with other people, then do let us know. We can also bring it into that comparisons episode. Now, for you to be able to see the comparisons episode and know when it's coming,
you know what to do.
Yeah, you know what to do. Hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Hit follow if you're watching or listening on Spotify. You can do the same on Apple Podcasts. If you would like to, and we would love you to, leave a comment, drop a like. If you're on Spotify, a 5-star rating would be absolutely fantastic. And share it with people that you think would find not necessarily this episode, but other episodes interesting. That goes so far. We're really starting to see a bit of a conversion in people enjoying our episodes and actually getting something out of them. And the more people we can get that to, the better, really. So yeah, now let's give the people what they want. Should we do grind my gears?
I'd love that.
Okay.
We've got lots of people writing in.
We've had a really strong week, guys. If you didn't know you could do that, please do so. And again, a reminder that we actually will not ignore you, because we love to hear it, and it takes the pressure off us to be angry all the time. Do you want to start, or should I start?
I don't know what my grind my gear specifically is here, but I think it has to be bad PTing.
Okay.
So I'm in the gym, my local gym. I'm on the Echo bike, the fan bike. I'm doing my VO2 max effort, so I'm staring at this one wall for 50 minutes or so. But in front of me is like the functional area, and there's a PT with his client, and I slowly start to see them building the height of the box, because they're doing toolbox jumps. It's the plyo box, so it's slightly softer. This guy's good. He's got pretty good jump on him. We're getting to like 32 inch, building up. Finally, we get to 45 inches. So pretty tall. Yeah. It's good. And the guy, he jumps and he doesn't quite make it. So like his toes kind of clip the top of the box, but it's okay because it's a soft box, it's a ply box. He kind of catches himself, plops himself, no harm done. He looks at the PT, and honest to God, this is what he said. He said, try jumping higher. And I was like, you're paying this guy money to help you with your training, and all he has to say is jump higher. I don't know what it's like. Have you tried being better?
I don't understand how someone can choose to do that as a profession and care that
little
about what they do.
I was just like, maybe he's joking, but then I sat in it because I was like, that's not good coaching.
It's the sort of thing I would say to you. Between us.
But I was like, that's not good coaching. But then also, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
You
do actually just need to jump higher. Yeah.
But it's like, could you give him some like feedback on maybe where he was standing, or what he was doing with his hips, or maybe with his arms?
Did you pull your toes up enough?
That
kind of thing.
Mate, the guy's just like,
bad.
Yeah, it's just like on a deadlift. Why don't you just lift heavier?
Thanks.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Or like, you know, when someone's like doing a pull-up.
Yeah.
And they're like nearly there, or standing out of the bottom of the squat, and someone's just standing there going up. I'm like, what do you think they're thinking, or what do you think they're trying to do?
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah. We got James has written in this week.
Okay.
Bit of a weird time of year for this one, actually. Because I feel like the rugby season, if it is rugby, I don't know what other seasons or what other things use
For gum shields.
but boil at home gum shields,
He's
which
not
is
a
like,
fan.
not a fan at all. And I can agree with this. Did you ever, and this isn't a plug, but OPRO, did you ever have an OPRO gum shield?
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people also used to hate the process with OPRO gum shields because they came along with the dough, the warm minty dough. I fucking loved that.
Gum shield day was honestly a highlight of my year.
It was so cool.
So good.
I would look through the catalogue of OPRO designs of
What colour you're getting?
I could get this colour, I could get a United Kingdom flag, I could get a South African flag if I wanted to, and I don't know why I would.
Opro was so good.
And then I would always just go for the clear one because it was the cheapest.
One season I went full gold.
Oh, you were the target of our team. We'd rock up and we'd be like, full gold
and I'm
gum
wearing
shield.
like bright pink boots as well, and I was like 12.
The thing, so for those that didn't have like a properly fitted gum shield, it's like
Oh, I loved it.
having a retainer done.
Yeah.
So they do a very similar process, but they mold your teeth and then they mold the gum shield to it. So when you put it in, it stays. You can talk, you can do it's so good. And like they're just better quality. But when you have to use a boil at home one and you have to boil that thing until it is scorching and then shove it in your mouth, bite down, and it doesn't even stay.
Really?
It just drops off.
I've always had like good experiences with boil at home gum shields.
I used to have a flavored boil at home gum shield,
Really?
orange flavor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like, because I had a proper gum shield for like the majority of the time I was playing, maybe towards the back end when I was playing less frequently. But I don't know if this like ruins the structure and integrity of the gum shield. But I'd boil it like most times I played to make sure it was like stuck
You
right
definitely
in.
weren't supposed to do that.
But it was like stickier.
I think, yeah.
But I never made any tackles. I never got in any contact, so I was all good.
Okay. See, I
Sometimes I had just had it in my socks.
I had a few, and I had a spare when I was playing American football because I left my OPRO sometimes.
Yeah.
But these things that you're like, you boil them one time, you push it up, it burns. So then you're like, you don't properly go for it. You take it out, and then you're like, ow, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
Or I've probably fucked it up. So then you reboil it because you're allowed to do it a certain number of times.
Yeah.
You put it back in, you make it a bit better, and now your teeth are actually hurting.
Yeah.
So then you don't bother. And then you come to game day and you put it in and it basically just sits between your teeth.
Yeah.
Crap. Terrible.
Well,
I
so
agree.
his grind my gear was I don't like boil at home gum shields.
Yeah.
I think you should, if you're gonna play contact sport or a sport like
Get a
hockey
proper
or
one.
like go and get a
Go and get
one done.
fitted
It's
one.
well
So
worth it.
much nicer.
Did you ever like chew it
Yeah.
and then it just like flattens at the end? And it's,
No,
like,
no,
spiky
because
when
I
you
always
put it in your
chewed
mouth.
mine closed. So it held its shape because I knew people did that and it went flat and it would like break.
I used to do the Henry Pollock before it was cool and just like have it out the side and just chew on it.
Well, I used to have to do that to be able to shout in American. If I was changing a play in American football, I could speak with the OPRO, but I couldn't like be specific.
Did you not have the one that like attached to your
helmet,
your cage?
So no, because those were the boil at homes and they never fit your teeth.
That's just
properly.
like a fashion
But then also
statement,
when you
isn't it?
put that in, it just doesn't fit. The ones that you see, the fashion statements that you see in the NFL, they're all like silicone. They're really soft. So they actually do nothing.
Oh, perfect.
And you just shove it in because it's got a cool thing that goes over your lips and looks like, I don't know, bear teeth or something really dang. I was like, I wouldn't be able to use those because you wouldn't be able to hear me talk.
Sure.
Next one I've got is from Katie. Meal prep companies and their fake ads sponsor an actual podcast, which I rate so much. Thank you very much. If there are any meal prep companies, just send them to us. We'll figure it out. But I have also seen.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Name them all.
We could do it. We could do a better job for Simmer, Thrive.
Yeah.
I don't know if Callow have done the fake podcast things, but regardless, your food might actually be good. You are wasting yourself on the advertising. So if you haven't seen, it would just be like someone with a microphone, a bit like we are here, just being like, what do you mean I could get 35 meals made for insert separately recorded price? £42.99. That's insane. I spend 8 hours a day cooking chicken at home on a Sunday. And it's so like the maths just doesn't make sense because it's like you'll spend £85 buying chicken and rice and then you'll spend 92 hours on a Sunday cooking it. Why would you? And it's just like, come on. Like if your product's good, just actually show how good the product is. If it looks nice, I'll probably want it.
Yeah.
So that was a good one.
That's so good.
Have you got another one?
I had someone write in, and I think it's more of like a hot take than a grind my gear. And it was more of like, this is my hot take, discuss.
Yeah.
CrossFitters can go and do a high rocks and probably do quite well just with their training, but high roxers can't go to a CrossFit event and potentially even do some of the movements, let alone do well. And then it was just like a discuss, here's my hot take. But yeah, that's completely true. CrossFitters train for all sorts of different skill variety. They learn how to Olympic weightlift, how to do gymnastics. They can run, they can row, they can ski, they can carry heavy stuff. They can push sleds, pull sleds. They can wall-ball. Wall-balling is a CrossFit movement that Hyrox adopted. So all CrossFitters can go. They might not love the running component, but you see lots of like top level CrossFitters. The best example recently is Willy Georges. I don't know if you know, a French athlete. He stopped competing in CrossFit because he had a bad shoulder injury, and then he turned all of his attention to becoming like this absolute freak hybrid athlete. And I think he ran like a low 50 something solo pro. Like he's on the brink. Like he's a great athlete. And then if you take a high roxer and go, you need to now do a CrossFit comp, you have to snatch. They're like, what's that? Don't know how to do. I maybe can do a dumbbell snatch. You have to do toes to bar. You have to do ring muscle ups. You have to do handstand walk in. There's lots of skills there. So it's like, if you wanted a more complete training kind of methodology, you'd probably choose CrossFit. But then again, like Hyrox isn't a methodology. It's just a sport. It's an event.
I think, yeah. So Hyrox was born arguably out of CrossFit spaces.
Yeah.
So then if I do a comparison, which will hopefully quieten that debate over whether or not that's like Hyrox athletes or real athletes. If you take ski and snowboard cross, my favorite things to watch in the Winter Olympics.
So good.
And then you take, which was born out of the independent sports, but not racing. It was born out of the extreme stuff. So if you take a half pipe snowboarder and that's like the CrossFit variant,
they'll be able to
go and do ski and snowboard cross, but a ski and snowboard cross person
can't do
barely
backflips.
be able to do anything.
Yeah.
So like I think it's fair that CrossFitters get annoyed because Hyrox athletes can't do their sport, and maybe they go misrepresented as like unfit because they might go slower than a Hyrox athlete.
Yeah,
but
I think that's the frustration.
I think they've already separated themselves.
Yeah.
I don't look at someone that does well in a Hyrox and go, you're so much fitter than James Sprague.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, next one I've got is from Fran. Chain restaurants changing their menus a lot. And I've experienced this as well. So I don't know if this is what she's talking about, but Nando's have upset me many, many times by just taking things off their menu and then just not really like disguising it by bringing something in that no one asked for. I didn't actually want fully loaded chips.
And it broke. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
I don't know if there's any other good examples of that.
Pizza Express have changed some stuff. That was another staple when I was at uni.
Pizza Express has really upset me.
I think they've changed their tomato sauce, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's crap.
I used to fight the argument that Pizza Express was one of the most consistent dining experiences.
Correct.
And if you wanted a pizza that maybe for nostalgic reasons was good and the whole experience was nice, and I even defended the price because it is expensive to go to Pizza Express. I went to Pizza Express not actually that recently, but recently enough. The whole thing was ruined for me. All of my like good childhood memories and experiences of Pizza Express was ruined by this one bad experience. Their pizza's overpriced, it's not good, and I was upset.
I think this is actually important for athletes to know about because when in the lead up to an event, often the event is not in your hometown. So you have to go and eat out somewhere. Yeah. You want something that is reliable and good.
Yeah.
And for the most part, with the sports we talk about, carb-based.
Yeah.
Nando's is always a great option because you know what you're going to get. And the more they fuck around with that, the more nervous that makes me. I don't need to deal with that mental stress. Pizza Express would be another one where I'd walk in and I'd be like, well, I know I'm going to get a Lorraine on the classic
La
pizza.
Romana.
Yeah. But then...
and dough balls.
And I'm going to get dough balls. But
balls.
now,
that's so
hold
funny.
on a minute.
That's so
Hold
funny.
on a minute. You've changed the pizza sauce and I don't like the pizza anymore.
They have a different base as well. You have another base option.
It used to be so
I feel
simple.
like for Nando's, at least, the staples are still there.
Yeah.
Like you can still get chips.
Yeah.
You can still get garlic bread.
Yeah.
And you can still get some form of chicken.
Yeah, but that's not everyone's favorite thing.
But at least you have the reliable staples.
Yeah, I mean, I've lost my kids' deal.
Yeah, I'm sure
kids'
that's
meal.
Yeah, that's tough for you.
That was annoying. That was the best thing ever. I'm not going to go back into that. You've got another one.
No, you've got another one.
Okay, so we've had someone write in and they felt ignored. Their boyfriend has actually sent us in something this time. They were traveling,
Ignoring my girlfriend.
Yeah. They were traveling and they were just away for work. Basically, they went into a gym and it strictly said on multiple signs apparently, no training with shoes off.
Oh, shoes off. Okay.
Okay. I don't think bare feet is acceptable, but like shoes off if you're in socks, I think that's fine personally. So they didn't have lifting shoes and they had like some big lifts to do. They weren't going to do that in their daily shoes because that's what they had with them. So they trained with their shoes off and they just got the evils from everybody.
Yeah.
And I think, do you know what? There's two sides to this. One, you're literally breaking the rules. So kind of fair enough.
Yeah.
Two, I disagree with the rule.
Yeah.
So therefore,
it's still
I am
the
on your
rule.
side.
Yeah. I get it. It's hard. So I have two things to say about this. The first one, when you go traveling, this is arguably the most stressful thing is choosing what footwear to take.
Yeah.
Because when I go away, I want to go running. I want to have just a casual pair of shoes and I probably want to go to the gym. And when I want to go to the gym, it depends what I'm going to do in there. But I don't necessarily want to wear because my casual shoes, you could wear Vans in the gym or like Gazelles or something in the gym, Jordan 1s in the gym. But actually, I want a more functional shoe. So I'll probably go and wear something like Rads, for example. Plug there.
Plug.
So now I've got 3 pairs of shoes, but I don't have enough space if I want to take my runners. And what if I wanted to do a fast session when I'm away? Do I have to take carbons or it's all? So I can understand why going to the gym, you want to take your shoes off because you haven't got the correct footwear. But also, couldn't you just manipulate the session to do something different off program? Or, oh no, so this is what I say to people like, I don't know if it's a hygiene thing, but if you're going to take your shoes off in my class when you're doing deadlifts, for example, because you've got like big runners on, I don't mind it, but you're taking responsibility for your feet. For sure, you ain't taking your socks off because that's a big red card. But if you drop something on your toes, maybe your shoes aren't going to give you that much protection anyway. But if you drop something on your foot in socks, it's going to be more painful. You take responsibility for that. Be sensible. But that leads me on to the second thing that also happened when I was on my fan bike efforts. This one guy, he'd got out like one of the communal mats, yoga mats. He'd spent so long spraying it and wiping it, like so long. Like he was clearly so paranoid about touching anything. Spray. Like I'm going to say 5 minutes wiping this thing down.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Went to put the spray back. And as he returned, some woman just walked straight over it.
No.
It was honestly the interaction. She was like, she wasn't even sorry. And then he did the whole thing again.
No.
He went and wiped it again.
That's horrible.
Oh, it was really, really funny.
That's tough.
Yeah, it was really funny.
I'm just thinking, if I was in the gym that had all the rules of like, you can't train without socks on, I would probably go over to someone and I would probably say like, do you mind putting your shoes back on?
Yeah.
The only thing that would stop me doing that is if they were wearing
500
if they were wearing high socks,
Oh, of course.
who we are proud partnered with. And the reason that I wouldn't stop them is because I can see that they've got adequate grip on the bottom of their socks.
They do.
Which is extremely useful, not just for lifting in the gym, but for all of your other sporting events feeling contact. Now, you might also be thinking, and I promise you genuinely, this was a grind my gear that got sent in, and the person that's listening to this that sent it in is probably thinking, how on earth have they turned this grind my gear into this? But if you are ever going away and you're traveling, then you might also benefit from Podium Chaser, which is connected to High Socks, because they have compact travel towels.
Nice.
Which means that you can go to the gym and you won't ever have to worry about making a mess on your mat, because you could just lie this down and sweat onto that. And then there's the High Style and the Podium Chaser logo right in the middle there.
That's actually my sauna towel because it's perfect for like butt size.
Butt size.
When you take, yeah, there you go. That's the other thing.
I don't think that's on any of their current reviews, but it should be. Sure they add it. But yeah, guys, if you want to go and grab towels, other forms of clothing, or if you want to give the socks a go, head over to High Style Clo or High Socks and use the code MindSet15 for 15% off. That will mean that hopefully you don't get pestered so much by other people in the gym. And you can have a bit more of a relaxing session getting the work done that you need to do.
We've got to add touch rugby to the useful socks.
Oh,
list.
really?
Yeah. So good in the boots.
There we go. Just
So
cutting
good.
people up left, right, and centre.
I wasn't.
It's worth also saying and reminding you guys again, if you're at this point and you haven't started tapping the button on the screen that makes this part of the podcast go quicker, please do head to @MindSets_podcast and give us some support. Our page is actually doing pretty well at the moment on socials, but it's not home unless you guys are there. So
what basically happens, if you haven't seen it, is I'll say something mildly incorrect.
yes,
Kind of, but in the context of the podcast, I've explained that this might not be right.
Yeah.
But Angus then takes it, clips it, and out of context sounds terrible, and then we'll post it on the internet for everyone to then just absolutely shred me in the comments section. So that's what you're missing out on.
it's business at the end of the day. And without you guys following and sharing with your friends, we have to stoop to the bar being really, really low and go begging for engagement like that. So please do your bit. Genuinely subscribe and follow. It means so much. We're at a very similar point across platforms in terms of how many like subscribers or followers we've got. And if we can just get like 10 or 15% more of you to actually hit the button, we can do some pretty cool things. And in fact, do you know what? Here right now, and I'm saying this, and I know I've got it edited in.
You'll forget.
This is ad space. So if you have a business or if you know people that would like to push their business, then we want to only be doing that with brands that we think we would work well with and that you guys would benefit from. But that is another way that we can be supported. And the only way to do that is to have your guys' support by clicking buttons that are free. So if you could please do that, that would be absolutely massive. And we're going to immediately make you feel better and less sad about us asking you to do that by getting into the game. This week, the game is called You Heard Me? Because
Wait, have you got the answers there on your screen? I'm
No.
trying not to. Okay, fine.
I
fine,
know all
fine.
of them
Okay,
because
cool.
I've written them.
Okay, fine. So I can.
What's going to happen in this game is Charles is going to be given effectively a sentence of words, which sounds like something else. I'm sure people will have seen this online. He needs to tell me what relevant sporting thing he is saying without any guidance. If you're watching this online, you'll be able to see what the words are on screen, so you can play along a bit as well. There are 10 of these.
I'm going to be so bad.
We're going to start off. They are so easy. Okay. So let's go. Can you see number one there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
should've
give
worn
me
my glasses.
Read it out. I can make this a little bit bigger for you because you are in your 30s now.
I know. Oh, actually, side note.
Yeah.
I was running around the rugby field yesterday.
Yeah.
And went, oh, my hips. Ref goes, how are you complaining your hips? What are you, like 22? I was like, oh.
Gas. Did you correct him?
No.
Yeah. Good one, ref. Oh. Nice.
I reckon the ref was younger than me as well.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an even bigger compliment.
Yeah, no, it was so good.
Okay. Right. Let's start
can
with
see that.
number one.
My tactic is to say it fast.
You need to just say it out loud for everyone to be able to play at home, regardless of whether you think you know it straight away.
Mikey Il Jordan. Michael Jordan.
Straight away. Started easy. Good. Okay. Next one.
As long as I got one.
Oh, next one.
Are they all people? They could be anything.
No, they're
Okay,
sport
fine.
related.
God, I've Wembley own Tea Nice. Wembley own Tea Nice. Wembley own Tea Nice. Wimbledon tennis.
Yes.
Oh,
Got it. Good.
that was
Okay.
hard.
Okay. Next one.
Do you want to veal tricks? Do you... I've played this game when it's like, where is it like something like either really sexual or that's a good game. Do you want to veal tricks? V tricks. Or Joanna Vitrix.
Got it. Yeah.
No way did you come up with these.
Yeah, I did. I promise
That's
you.
incredible.
Thank you.
That's niche.
Okay. You've got to read these out.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Augustin show anal. Hold it together, Charles. Okay. Augusta show anal. Snow angel. Snow angel. Augusta show angel. Snow anal. Hang on. You're looking at it like I'm being stupid. Augusta Starna show anal. Augustana show. Is it one word?
No, it's two words.
O-gu-star na show, anal. The way that I would naturally say it probably is killing me.
I think I would question. So the first word here is OW. I would say that's not O.
Ooh, woo.
It's like
Ow. Ow, goo. Augusta.
that might help you.
Augusta Nasho anal. Can you give me a clue?
Golf.
Oh my God, that's good. Augusta National.
You got it.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, next one.
God, they'll hate that, Augusta National.
They won't be happy about that.
Okay, car read right hard son. Would you go Shakari Richardson? Shakari Richardson.
Spot on. Very good. You're flying at the moment. Okay, here we go.
Oh, what's that? What's that? Sugma. What's that thing?
Sagma.
Oh, I wasn't expecting this. Okay, ligma bowels.
That's a crazy thing to say on our podcast, by the way. We'll move on. That was because you made last week's Game Impossible, so I had to get you to say Ligma balls on the podcast.
Sugma.
Okay, right. Let's go. We've still got 10 legit ones. That was just a bonus one in there. Okay, next one.
Usain Bolty. That's good.
Yeah.
Usain Bolt. That's
Very good.
That's so good.
Okay, next one.
Max Verstappen. I don't even have to say
You
it.
got to read it out.
Mark Kiss verse happen.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, next one.
Wembless Tame Doom. Wembley Stadium. No way you came up with that.
I genuinely did, yeah.
That's
I'm
incredible.
quite proud of these. We've got two more. Okay.
Ellie Glocksy. Ellie Glossy. 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 Ellie Glocksy. Ellie Glocksy. Ellie Glocksy. Glocksy. Am I saying it?
Yeah, this one's not exactly as it sounds. It's similar. I would tell you that the first word of these three words you're saying is like the first part, and the second two words are the second word of the thing.
Ellie Glocksy. Glocksy.
So the words for people listening home is Ellie, Glock, C.
FC.
No.
Oh, cool. Oh, I give up.
LA Galaxy.
Oh,
Ellie Glocksy.
that's tough.
That is
That's
tough.
a tough one.
That was tough.
I should have done
Okay,
better.
last one. You're on for
LA.
You're on
that's
for 9
so
out of
good.
10 though, if you get this
Okay.
last one, which is very good. Okay, ready?
Yeah. Oh, I'm kicking myself. RC Drools Food Bale. Ow. RC Drools Food Bale. Football. Could be football. RC Drools Football. I can't wait. Hang on. RC Jaws for bail.
What if I told you, as your final clue for this, first two words of the first word, middle word,
Arsenal football.
no.
Oh,
Middle word is the middle word.
oh, there's three words.
So there's three words in this.
Jaws.
It's first two words the first word, middle one is the second word, last two words is the last
Horsey.
word.
Horsey. Is it a person?
No, it's a sport.
Horsey. 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 I'm saying it, aren't I?
You're struggling.
Horsey. Jaws. Football. I don't know.
I'm giving up with this one.
Oh, I hate myself for giving up.
This one, 4C draws food bell, is Aussie rules football.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I think you got 8 out of 10. I'll give you 9 out of 11 because you got Ligma balls as well.
Smashed it.
Crazy. But yeah, well done. That was actually pretty good.
So
you did better
good.
than I thought you would do.
That's got to be. I don't think I'm going to be able to create something that good.
I'll bring this back.
You
I'll bring
must.
this back.
Yeah.
We'll do it with a guest.
I think people will love that.
if you can work as a team with a guest to try and
That's
say
so
these
good.
things.
No, that was one of our best games ever, I think.
Okay, cool. Well, if you guys enjoyed it, let us know. We'll do more of that. Likewise, if you've got any other athletes you want us to do an insight on, or if there's any further information that you have about these athletes, we actually did get a few people message about some MotoGP things, actually positive stuff, not just falling for the rage bait, that were super interesting. So we can bring those into future episodes. So please do not hold back. Like I said prior to the game, please do what you can to support us in terms of just following the page, sharing something with a friend, telling someone else to listen. It means a lot more than you imagine it does. So we appreciate you all for doing so. So anything else from you?
I've got nothing.
We're going to episode 89 next time. And then we're on to the last 10 before something really, really crazy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Can't wait.
That's how counting works. Right, guys, look forward to seeing you in the next episode.